Well, hello. Welcome to the energetic forecast for August 12th to August 18th. And in true Mercury retrograde form, I have recorded this third time from start to finish. My goodness. Anyways, okay, here is the main message for this week. It is to slow down. We have so much going on. We have a lot of chaotic energies, a lot of volatilities. We've got a lot of heat, inflammation on so many levels, just bouncing around. And it is going to be very important that we take our time and slow down because this Mercury retrograde, look, Mercury retrograde happens a few times a year. That's not necessarily something to be concerned about. Yeah, it might be disruptive and irritating sometimes. However, like for example, my audio didn't record the first two times, so now I'm doing it a third time. Um, However, this Mercury retrograde is a little bit different. It has some challenging aspects to it, which adds a little bit of complexity here. So, this is going to be probably one of the more contentious weeks of the entire year of 2024. So, I am going to go into it and give you some practical tips and tools and things that you could do, methods you could do to help mitigate and support you during the intensities that are upon us. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. If you can just give me 1 second. And please make sure to like, subscribe, as well as hit that bell so that you're notified every time a new video is up every week. It really supports the channel a lot. And share this message to your very sensitive friends so that they are not freaking out with all the happenings of this week. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and make this big for you. All right, here we go. So let's get into it. We have, first things first, Sun is in Leo, and Leo is a very happy sign. It is very playful and exuberant. So we still have that in the air. It's summer season, especially in the northern hemisphere, so that you are, enjoying your time playing, having some fun with the people in your life. This is not a time for dullness, that's for sure. I mean, I don't think we can. We're gonna have so much excitement and so much activity this week that the humdrum dull thing is not going to be a thing, basically. Now we do have the sun in a square with Uranus. Uranus, this is going to be an important planet we need to talk about. I'm going to mention it a handful of times. And it is a very disruptive planet. It is like the bringer of chaos. It is going to bring the unexpected, for example, like an accident or an earthquake. Like you can't really plan for those things. It's usually disruptions that help us to grow and evolve. But, we have a red line here. So that's a challenging aspect. So this can bring sudden upsets. This could bring, sudden disruption, something breaking down, things falling apart. It's just going to bring what you did not plan at all. And you're going to have to put out these little fires essentially throughout your day. And actually, really throughout this week is a lot of putting out of fires. So just know that that's in the air. That's going to be present all week. And by the way, the stuff that I talk about on Monday, a lot of it, and I'll let you know which ones do, are going to impact the whole week. Some things are going to go all the way to the month. So a lot of what I talk about Monday, please stick around for Monday because it's going to impact pretty much every single day this week. Now, Mercury is the planet of communication. It is the planet of travel. It's also rules technology too. And it is in Virgo in retrograde. Now, it being in Virgo, it's its home sign. So Virgo is very analytical. It's very methodical. It's very practical. And it goes through the details. It cares about details, okay? It's our organized, planning everything kind of person, kind of energy. And with the planet of communication here, this makes you incredibly thorough and detailed in the way that you learn things and the way that you talk about things. I mean, make sure you check off all the boxes kind of energy here. And with Mercury in retrograde, it can kind of go in either extremes. We can over analyze something to death, overthink, over obsessively worry about something. And on the other side, it could be really overlooking major details and not being thorough and missing like big chunks of information that's important. Like, for example, I should have clicked the audio before I record. That's a very important detail. You know, that's Mercury in retrograde. So, with retrograde, it's very important that you take your time. Okay, you really want to take your time and that you are thorough, but not obsessive. Okay, but like just check your work, plan things ahead. What's going to be really helpful this week is have a plan B and a plan C and a plan D. Or if you don't know what plan B, C, D are, at least know that you're going to might have to come up with one on the spot. So just be prepared for schedule changes this week, okay? Or really like the rest of the month, but plans just having to shift around and being adaptable and flexible is going to be important. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. But don't also over schedule yourself and don't over plan yourself, because you're going to need some room for that flexibility. And if you need to change things, on a moment's notice, that you're able to do so. So don't schedule things so tight is another thing to consider. Virgo likes organization, okay? And so this may also be a good time to like reorganize your bedroom, your bathroom, your kitchen, your office, like in your home, so that you are operating in a more efficient way, in a more functional way. So that would be a great medicine for this Mercury in retrograde. Another thing too is because it's the planet of expression, right, of communication, which is what Mercury is, it also rules the hands. It rules the hands, the arms, the shoulders. So anything that deals with hands, I highly recommend. Virgo's an earth sign. So especially like cooking, because you're touching the vegetables, the grains, kneading the dough or whatever. Like that would be another major recommendation, is to work with your hands, go cook, because this is going to ground you. It's going to slow you down. My main message is to slow down this week. Calm down. Everything's moving super fast. All the time. It's constantly moving so fast. It's very active. So it is important that you take that initiative to slow down and be more cautious and go through all the details. Make sure everything is prepared, that you take your precautions as well. If you're going to be working with anything dangerous, check and recheck all of the safety procedures before moving forward. But because of this whole hand situation, besides cooking, gardening, I highly recommend. That will ground down all of this excess yang energy. Another thing would be writing, because it's the ability to express yourself, right? And so you can really express yourself on a paper that is not biased, non-judgmental, and really like contemplate and reflect your inner world, your inner feelings, your inner thoughts, all of that, and put it out on paper. And you're going to release that tension, because I told you this Mercury is aspected in really harsh ways, and this Mercury needs an outlet. And so that journaling or cooking or gardening and potting plants, for example, those are going to be really great tools and ways for you to harmonize and soothe this planet that is, in retrograde and aspected harshly. So, all right, let's also talk about some other things. We got Venus in Virgo, which Venus is about, relationships and arts and beautification. But that's why I was like, maybe beautifying your space, making your space more functional and beautiful at the same time. Also connecting with others. You're going to want to probably be very helpful in listening and talking to other people as well. That'll be a nice outlet as well. Okay, now next, let's talk about our Mercury aspecting Uranus. Okay, remember I talked about Uranus can be very disruptive. It brings sudden change that is unplanned and unexpected. And so with Mercury aspecting Uranus, this means some of our communication could be very just saying things without thinking. So you want to be, it's in retrograde, right? So we want to take our time and think before we speak, because we can just be a little bit too fast, a little too sloppy in the way that we're talking about something, and just say things without a filter, and then end up maybe hurting someone's feelings or say something that we regret as well. So to prevent that, again, slow down. Take your time here. Okay, so just know if you're counting on things to work out perfectly as planned. That is not going to be the case for a lot of this week. So just expect schedule changes, plans changing, disruptions like a flat tire. Mercury also rules travel, right? So, having like disruptions and hiccups in your travel could be a thing. Also technology, so having glitches or issues with your computer or your phone, those could come up as well. So keep that in mind. Really, like, look, there's already enough frustration and irritation in the air. So knowing that, I'm going to again give you more tools and tips. I already gave you the whole use your fingers tips, but I'm going to give you more throughout the week, depending on all of the aspects of what you can do to help release, kind of like the pressure release valve off of an Instant Pot or a pressure cooker, so that you can release all of that. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this. I just want to rip my hair out kind of sensation. All right. So be careful, don't be hasty. That's the big thing, because there is also a lot of setup for accidents to possibly happen. So let's talk about moon, and then we're gonna really focus here on this Mars and Jupiter, which is like one of the conjunctions of the year. We've had a couple major conjunctions, but this is a really big standout one, and that's happening on Wednesday. So moon is in Scorpio. Moon doesn't like to be in Scorpio. It is not a happy place here. Moon likes comfort and peace and relaxation, right? And connection and some fun times, and maybe a little bit of indulging. And Scorpio is like raging storms out in the wide open seas, right? Like crashing waves, very tumultuous, very chaotic too, very intense. And it's not a place where the moon can really relax. So, we already have all of this Mars and Jupiter going on, but on top of that, look at this. Uranus is in opposition to Moon. Uranus, the red lines are not helpful. They are troublesome. They're hardships. And so all of this like unexpected issues, right? And disruptions and chaos is not only, we're already feeling it from Moon and Scorpio, but now we got to add Uranus, like dumping all of its chaos into our moon in addition. So look, here's some of my recommendations. Running water is another thing, like swimming where your body is moving against like moving water, or just a shower, running water, right? Go to a waterfall if you have the opportunity to do so. But like just a simple shower will be so relieving and really calm your nervous system here, because our moods, our emotions are going to be on edge, okay? On edge. So to prevent like a meltdown and a breakdown, let's do these things that are very grounding, whether we're working with the earth and or also in water, in moving water, okay? Not a bath, but a shower. Sometimes a shower is like the most spiritual experience, the most cleansing experience you can go through. All right, so let's talk about some of the other aspects to the moon. We have Sun square the moon, which is also very tense. This can feel like, that bottled up pressure, things just not going very smoothly as well. Do you see we have like one challenge after another challenge after another challenge, just packing on top of each other, prone to being irritable and upset easily, probably like going against authority figures as well. And then we have moon. The one possible nice thing here is the moon in trine with Saturn. Now, because it's a positive aspect, Saturn brings some sobering reality, some wisdom, and it's going to kind of be like that doula in the middle of a contraction when you're like wanting to die, but they're comforting you. They're like, okay, it's only like 30 seconds left. Everything's going to be all right. This is a passing moment. And so there's this wisdom and this comfort that comes from Saturn. Usually we don't think of it that way, but there's a lot of wisdom inside of Saturn and just reminding us like, okay, we're in this storm right now, but it isn't forever. It's just temporary. It's a temporary phase, and it brings some sobering reality to us that this is just a phase and it is not permanent and it is absolutely not forever. Okay? All right, so now let's talk about our Mars and Jupiter, which is like, wow, what we're in it for. Now, this peaks on Wednesday. Right now, it's only 1 degree away. Okay, Mars is at 15 degrees, Jupiter is at 16 degrees. Let's talk about what each of these planets represent, and then together what they can mean. So Mars represents, it's the god of war. So it can be violent, it can be ragey, it can be angry, hostile, okay, contentious, arguing, disputes. Also, it rules weapons like knives, so cutting. Uh, so there's violence. There's possible violence here as well. It is, and on the positive side, okay, on the positive side, it is ambition. It is, the drive to do something. It's very courageous and very brave. It's the warrior, right? It's the warrior. A warrior is very brave and just dives right into conflict and hardship and difficulty. So it has a lot of courage and willpower and drive, and is not afraid to start stuff. Is not afraid to start things. So there is that beautiful aspect to it. The thing is, Jupiter is a very big planet, and it amplifies whatever it's next to. So we are amplifying here. This Jupiter is like 100 timesing in the energy of Mars. So Jupiter is growth, expansion. So Jupiter usually it's good luck and opportunities and very positive and optimistic and hopeful. And it also represents our spirituality, like our beliefs, what we value, how we view the world, what is the meaning of life, what is truth, right? So the thing is, Jupiter is not always nice like that when it's so close to a malefic planet, a difficult planet that can really exacerbate and expand the intensity that is Mars. And so that is why, like, we have to be very careful. This is not just a little bit of like ambition. This could be really just being hasty and rushing into things and being impulsive and reckless. There's recklessness here that can happen. This could be being very overly confident, like you're overshooting, what you think is going to happen, and not be grounded in reality, and not also being thorough with plans. Like Mars is just go impulsive, kind of do without really planning and thinking. So we can just go into stuff without really investigating and taking our time to go through the details, and the plans, and knowing like what are the outcomes. So it's losing foresight. It is just reckless and restless and rushing into things. It's kind of like excessive growth, like tumor growth. It's growing too fast. It's way too much. Is the main concern here. Now, look, it could be positive. It could be positive. It could be fortunate action. It could be, like really like being passionate about something you believe in, being passionate about your ideals. On the negative side, it could be philosophical extremism. Look, if you look in the news, you can see that. You can see philosophical extremism, people taking their beliefs and taking it to a degree that is violent and hurting others, and that it's very aggressive and pushy. So very obnoxious too. Like I said, I do worry about being overconfident here. Being overconfident and not really just impulsively jumping into something without carefully looking it through, those plans, or what the consequences will be of that action. So yeah, that's what we've got to deal with. And our Mercury, not our Mercury. No, we will eventually be aspecting some of these other planets as we move in through the week. But we do have another difficult aspect to all of that intensity that I just talked about. Okay. Oh, by the way, this is all in Gemini. So Gemini is our thinking or self-expression. It's how we learn. And so there could be a boost in learning. That's been one way that it's showed up in my life. Like really learning a lot about astrology, learning about soap making, learning about baking bread. I have been like on this incredible journey of, trying out all kinds of different things. And I don't know, just all of a sudden, like passionately wanting to learn new stuff here. But it's in Gemini. So, a lot of our feelings and beliefs about stuff, the way we think about stuff, our opinions, we're probably going to be quite more verbal and expressive about our opinions. And, but we just need to, again, slow down so that we're not hurting people in the process and not just rushing through and like saying things that we're not really thinking before we're speaking. So that's going to be a repeat theme here. So Saturn is in square with these things. So Saturn is known to be a malefic planet, and Saturn can bring a lot of hardship too and challenges. So it could feel like our efforts are being blocked here, or like our inner energies are struggling to really assert themselves. It's kind of like, here's this, we're going to put our foot on the gas really hard, and then the handbrake is on at the same time, that's a lot of tension just there. So please proceed slowly and cautiously, because my other concern is accidents. This could lead to accidents, and accidents on the road. Road rage, I bet, is going to really escalate during this time as well. Overextending yourself, working so hard and burning yourself out. Like, we have to take some time to rest. Like, there's so much yang activity. It is incredible that some of us are just going to work ourselves to death here. So just be careful, because we can miss so many details and overlook precautions and end up harming ourselves. And of course, that is definitely not what I want to see happening to anyone. So this is why more reason to be very, very cautious and taking your time. If somebody is like annoyed with you on the roads and there's some road rage around you, don't instigate it. Just, even if you inside are like raging mad and just gonna blow a gasket, do your best to ignore the situation, because who knows what it could escalate to. Okay, this is what I'm talking about in terms of being cautious. Don't put yourself in those situations. Don't put yourself in tense circumstances, because it could be explosive, essentially. Energetically speaking, could be explosive. So be very careful. Pay attention to the news around this week, especially actually this whole week. It peaks on Wednesday, but I'm afraid we may see more wildfires or, earthquakes or violence. Like, be careful where you put yourself as well physically. Okay, don't put yourself in potentially dangerous situations, places, positions as well. Okay, so that is all week. By the way, this is all week. This influence is happening all week. So we have to be careful all week, take our time all week. Now let's go into Tuesday. I will tell you, between Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, it feels like a month. By the time I get to Wednesday, I am like exhausted because I've already recorded this twice for 50 minutes each time. So anyways, sorry, you can tell I'm a little bit bitter about that. And I love you all so much. So this has to be spoken. It has to be said. And you have to have good audio, because I don't want, you to hear echo when I'm talking about these things. All right. So on Tuesday, we have Moon in Sagittarius, which is kind of like our saving grace here. Moon likes to be in Sagittarius. It is more sparkly here versus Scorpio, which, I talked about, like that raging waters and just tumultuous like landscape. That is not where the moon wants to be. Here it's a bit more, it's just brighter, it's more hopeful, it's looking forward to the future, it's open to adventures. And so there's something about Moon and Sagittarius that I feel like gives us that strength to handle everything that's coming at us. So I feel like Tuesday, even though there's a lot going on, our moon is more adaptable. It's more flexible. It's open to doing plan B and C. It's not like just sitting there like, oh my God, this is too much. Like, the moon is like, all right, fine, let's shift gears. We'll do it this way then, And so I like that buoyancy that that the moon has here in Sagittarius. So thank goodness we have that. We do have some other positive aspects going on with the moon. It has a trine to Neptune, and Neptune is about like our sensitivities too. We're going to be more like in tune with things and our environment and be able to discern and pick up on things. And it's also very creative. Neptune is super creative. So I feel like we're going to have the ability to come up with more creative solutions and creative problem solving as these fires are coming at us. Because, like I said, this is like a week of putting out fires over and over again. So the moon also has a trine to Pluto. And Pluto, it also provides us like power and authority. It connects us with our deeper feelings as well. But this I feel like I said, the moon is stronger on Tuesday, which means our moods, our emotions are stronger and more capable of handling hard times. And Pluto is that. Pluto is hard times, and it knows how to navigate hard times. It's also a really good time to go through some therapeutic doing some therapeutic work, some energetic work, emotional work. Using your essential oils will be very effective this day. So that's just some ideas. Maybe talk therapy as well is really good for Tuesday. Now, moon does have a square with Mercury. So that you'll have a strong need to communicate, especially if you've got some issues with somebody or having some problems or someone has issues with you. So maybe difficult conversations might come to surface on this day. But again, with your moon, with the way that it's positioned, I feel like it can handle it better. Because look, it's still in opposition to Uranus. That chaos, that bringer of chaos and sudden unexpected disruptions that just kind of mess up our plans, screw up our plans for the day. But the moon, like I said, is buoyant. It can handle it. It's got the power of Pluto behind it too. It's like, I got this. We'll figure this out. And it's not just crumbling and falling apart there. So that is that saving grace here. We do have Venus in square with Mars. So here's Venus, this blue, and it's in square with Mars. And this one will mean like a little bit of difficulty in relationships. So if you have tension in your relationships, that might bubble more to the surface. But if you don't have any issues, whether it's your love partner or friendships, if you have no issues, you'll be fine. But if there's some hidden tension, then that will just be exacerbated and aggravated by this aspect here. We also have Venus in opposition to Saturn. So this is some inner conflict, maybe not being very self-disciplined, feeling pity, self-pity, like there could be a little bit of wallowing, a little bit of martyrdom going on here. So again, I do like this moon, like I said, is the saving grace. Hopefully that can mitigate that. But if you get those feelings, it's because of the Saturn that's in opposition to Venus. Okay. All right. So that's Tuesday. On Wednesday, this is another like mix of things. At least, again, moon is in Sagittarius. Look at the moon. It's still in Sagittarius. It's going to be here for a few days. Well, until tomorrow, I believe, until Thursday. And this has got lots of aspects, a lot of communication to the moon. So your feelings are going to be stimulated in so many different ways. And it has a lot of squares and oppositions. Now, it does have a trine. I will say that. I've been sick the last week, so sorry if my voice is a little bit off. But the moon is in trine with sun. So at least we have that softness here, a little bit of harmony here and adding strength to our moon and some confidence to our moon. And then we have Sagittarius here, the moon in Sagittarius. So that's nice. But let's talk about how much this moon is getting hit. It's getting hit hard from so many degrees. I will say moon is square Venus. So let's first talk about that. This one is not as challenging, but do be careful in overindulging in sweets or just in food and drink in general. They could stimulate that. We do have this opposition between the Mars and moon and also Mars and Jupiter. So this Mars and Jupiter, that intensity. And by the way, this is the day that it's conjunct. This is the day Mars and Jupiter are exactly 16 degrees. Look, I have this set at 9 a.m. Central Time. They're both 16 degrees, but Mars is 16 degrees, 38 minutes, and Jupiter is 16 degrees, 39 minutes. So basically in the morning is when it's basically on top of each other. Okay, these are think seconds, and these are minutes on a clock to give you an idea, to give like a reference. So this day, all of the intensity of Mars and Jupiter and Gemini is funneling down to your moon. So talk about wanting to explode. Talk about being easily irritated, okay? Being argumentative. Like things are just going to be less tolerable. Your patience is going to run so thin this day. So just don't be around people that annoy you. How about that? Don't be around people that annoy you, because you might just explode. Also, the moon represents women and also represents the household, like your home. And you may have some issues with women here on this day. I'm just thinking my 6-year-old daughter is probably going to have some tantrums, and I need to be prepared for it to give you an idea. Yeah, always fun fighting with a 6-year-old. Okay, so there's that. Now, with the Jupiter in opposition to the moon, this also is going to, you might require and have this need for freedom. And by the way, moon in Sagittarius needs freedom and space. So I would say you're going to need some space. Give yourself that space. And plus, moon is also aspecting to Saturn, which can bring feelings of loneliness and isolation, but I feel like that's gonna be good for you. Like, I think some alone time might be good. Some space might be really healthy for you, because we want to minimize exposure to arguments, disagreements, things like that, because the last thing we need is for you to, go nuclear. So yeah, Monday's a lot. Now, here's some of my recommendations to deal with everything that's coming at the moon. This is a fire sign. So move your body, do some exercise, release heat. There's so much heat coming. So release that heat by exercising and movement or sweating. You can also use a sauna or do some light therapy. I just recommend just sweating it out would be the best. Okay, that would be the best. That will really help your moon. Another aspect to note that's going to be present all week is between Venus and Jupiter. So there is a square between Venus and Jupiter, and that could bring some, not much self-discipline, I will say that, but overindulging in excess. We have to be cautious of this. Look, I bet you're going to want to indulge in something because of just everything we're dealing with on this day. I mean, this is like the peak, okay? This is the hottest temperature that we're going to be dealing with. So you probably want to do some retail therapy. You probably want to go have a drink. You probably want to go, like eat a giant slice of cake. Like, you probably will want to do that just to kind of calm you down and soothe you down. Let's just be careful not to gamble our house away. Let's just not go too extreme. We don't need to spend $5,000 on this day on some random item. Like, let's not do that. Go ahead and buy a purse. Okay, if you're going to do retail therapy, go ahead and buy just something like that. Maybe an outfit, great, awesome. But again, we don't need to go, get all wild and excessive and overdo it. Is going to be my caution here. Like I said, slow down. You might have this impulse to just do a lot and go fast and right, but no. Remember, slow down. That is the mantra for this week, because that's going to help prevent you from getting into trouble. It's going to help prevent you from, accidents as well, and harming yourself and doing some irreparable damage. So let's just slow down. All right. So that is Wednesday. All right. That's a lot just from Monday to Wednesday. I think, like I said, our saving grace is that maybe the moon is in Sagittarius. Yeah. Now, Thursday, things change a bit. All right. Moon is still in Sagittarius. We got one more day of moon there. But our Mercury our retrograde Mercury has now moved into Leo, and it is with the sun. And so this is going to bring about, a very talkative, like we'll be more talkative, we'll be more expressive. So that's good. We'll probably want to just, interact and connect with a lot of people. So you'll be on the phone more that day, maybe leaving some more voice notes, text messages, having actual like interactions with people, but that'll be desired. Just make sure to listen to and pay attention to cues, because this can create that energy of just like talking too much and talking over people and not paying attention to others, not paying attention to others and the needs of others, and not listening well to others. Again, slow down so that you can hear and listen to what other people are saying. Now, let's talk about our moon. Our moon has got more or less some positive aspects. The one challenge would be the moon in square with Neptune, but look at all these blue triangles here. So we have trines between the moon and the sun, which is such a pleasant like aspect, the moon and the sun being in trine. We're going to feel like life is flowing a little better today. There's less resistance, okay? Less hardships going on. And then Mercury also in trine with the moon allows us to express our feelings. So everything that's happened the last couple of days, we'll easily be able to talk about and share and, put to words like what we went through. So this is going to also be good for just interacting with others, but having very fruitful conversations. So, even though like Mercury and Sun being together in Leo might make you want to just talk a lot, talk over people, but at least we have this nice trine here that will help you to listen to other people as well. So a nice give and take in your conversations. And this just brings you really in touch with your feelings. Okay, able to communicate your feelings. But the moon in with Neptune here at a square with this red line, this one can impact the way that we see and experience things, and it causes delusions. All right, delusions and illusions is one of the difficult parts of Neptune, and when it's in a hard aspect, some of our feelings that we have might not really be true, might not be accurate. So here's the thing, this whole week, this is a time to just move through it and just take note of your experiences and your emotions. It's not a time to come to some hard conclusions and summaries and definitive remarks about what's going on. It's just, oh, okay, I'm taking note. So just take notes, essentially, because interpret later. Okay, come up with your conclusions later, because with this Neptune, it can really cloud like the truth and the reality of what's actually happening. All right, so that is our Thursday. Now let's continue on to Friday. Friday is the 16th. We have moon that moves into Capricorn. That's the big change here. And moon is not necessarily in love with being in Capricorn. It's at its detriment here. So it's not ideal. Look, moon likes to relax. It likes to be calm. It likes to be peaceful. It likes to just connect and have some really great conversations. But Capricorn is a workhorse and it likes to be in the grind. So it's kind of the opposite of what the moon truly desires. So you might feel burdened by a lot of responsibilities here, haunted by responsibilities, essentially. And it's also, I think of like the military with Capricorn and its institutions. So in these spaces, you're not really sharing your emotions, right? Like that just gets bottled up, packed down inside. And, you have this outer covering, this outer shell, and you got to look like strong and authoritative and, just get down to work. And so moon is not super pleased with that. Thankfully, I will say it does have a trine to Venus, Venus in Virgo, and Virgo is also very nurturing, and Venus, it's about relationships. So find your pleasures. Venus rules our pleasures and our hobbies. So find those little pleasures and hobbies, because that'll be a nice outlet for your moon in this rough space. And it also is about relationships. So, bonding and connecting with very specific people that you enjoy, like you really enjoy their company. Those are the people to really make time for today and interact with. It's Friday too. So if you got the day off or after work, like that's a great time to really just connect and bond with, those core people in your life, because that will be a nice outlet for the moon here. All right. Moon also is in. Oh, no. It's not in trine. Never mind. That's, I'm talking about Saturday. Moon is in. Yeah, I talked about what I want to talk about. Never mind. The one thing I want you to be careful of is overindulgent. That theme is coming up a lot. Is Moon trine Venus could make you indulge in rich foods and sweets and too much like pleasure, like getting blacked out drunk. We don't need to be doing that. So just be cautious of that. All right. So let's continue on Saturday. So Saturday, we have Moon conjunct. It's still in Capricorn, but it's conjunct with Pluto, and it's also in trine with Uranus. So your moon is going to want to do something a little bit rebellious, a little different, out of the ordinary. I think this continues. Yeah. Okay. So this is going to want to break out of the routine. So another thing that is a great expression of this, moon represents your home. Remember, and I talked about like rearranging your home. What would be great use of this energy is bringing something new into your home or into your family life, into your domestic life, maybe a new routine in the home, a new arrangement in the home, a new, like, I don't know. For example, I'm just going to give you an idea. I started baking bread for my kids because I didn't want to buy bread at the store. And that just started and I am loving it. I am so loving it. It is so easy. I had no idea it's easy to make bread, and it's organic and it's clean, it's healthier, and there's not a bunch of preservatives and nasty things in it, and it just makes me so happy that I get to make something with my hands. So that's like a new thing that is come alive into my world. And so that's just one kind of example that you can bring something new, exciting, fun, and evolving, like upgrading. Uranus is about upgrading. It's about making things better. So find something in your home life that you can improve and make better. That would be a good use of this energy. All right. So that is Saturday. And Sunday, this is a little softer. I feel like we get a bit of a reprieve on Sunday. Moon is in Aquarius, and it's in a delightful place in Aquarius. It's not just this tumultuous, rocky nature or, suppressing of the feelings. Like this is a bit more rational though, but it's very caring of others. It has this humanitarian quality about it, and it cares. It's sensitive to people. It's sensitive to others' needs. And it's very outgoing and sociable. So this is a great time to, again, like be in groups. It's Sunday. I'm sure some of you are celebrating, religious things where you're around a lot of people. So if that's the case, like go out with groups. That'll be a really nice way to nurture your moon, interact with people who have similar, values or philosophies and ideas. But also just, it brings a lot of open-mindedness as well to different ideas that you haven't considered before. It's also very imaginative and very creative. So that's a nice aspect. Also very intuitive. Oh my goodness. Moon in Aquarius brings incredible intuition. And then not only that, we have a lovely trine between Moon and Jupiter. And so this adds to that warmth and friendliness and that sense of well-being, and being like a emotional and physical support for others. So this cares about the needs of others, and genuinely concerned about the welfare of others. So it's very, very nice. And there's Moon is in conjunction with Pluto, but it's like 8 degrees, definitely influencing it and brings intense feelings. But I like it here. I like it here because I feel like you're going to have some real talks, like real conversations and deep conversations with the people that you're interacting on this day. So at least on Sunday, we have that nice moon in Aquarius to soothe out the week. To soothe out the week, okay? All right. Wow. I'm exhausted just talking about it. But please take care. Please take it easy. Take your time. Take your time is going to be the main message to slow down. You can use the blend, the Mercury Retrograde blend that I gave from the last video, the last forecast. It's 2 bergamot, 2 Roman chamomile, and 2 lavender. That'll be really, really helpful, all this month until August 27th while Mercury is in retrograde. Do some gardening, do some cooking, do things that are very grounding in nature. And remember, when moon is in Scorpio, go swimming or take a shower. When moon is in Sagittarius, go and sweat, burn off some calories, get the heat out is my point. Go to a sauna, do something that just releases the heat. Release the heat when we're at that time. And take it easy with the excessive indulgent qualities too. Have a little bit, indulge a bit, but don't go overboard. Don't go overboard either. When I talked about the things you can do for your moon, that is always going to help mitigate those other difficult tendencies of overindulgence, for example. So follow the moon. The moon is impacting us all the time, and it changes signs every 2 to 3 days. And if you were to track that, especially as an empath, track where the moon is and see how you're feeling. That will give you a ton of information. Obviously, you can listen to the forecast, but just to empower yourself with this knowledge, that's just a simple thing that you can do, because the moon is the closest to the earth out of everything, and the moon funnels the energy from all of the other planets down into our bodies. It's like a filter, and it funnels everything into us. So pay attention to the moon. All right. Now, if you want more personalized reading, you can go ahead and check out my Cosmic Clarity consultation. We'll link that down below. I also provide a monthly membership. It's called Rise and Thrive. And there I give blends based upon the needs of the community, because there is a particular energy signature that is created within my community, and then also what's going on astrologically, and taking in all those factors. And then I design a blend every single month to support the community, as well as meditations and other workshops. So it's a great, affordable place to get actually pretty customized support and tips, tools, recipes, everything that you need to have as an empath, because it's only very helpful to know what to do when we are in the throes of all of these different energies, and we're very sensitive to them but don't know how to work with them. That's often the challenge, is we don't know how to interpret them as well as how to work with them, and how to soften those rough edges that we have to deal with in life. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this forecast. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and share to anyone who needs to hear this message. It really helps support the channel, and I'm so honored to be able to share these interpretations, what I intuit, as well as some things they're just factual. Those are the energies and those are the placements, and this is a lot of science. So all right, thank you so much. I'm going to stop my share, and we will see you in the forecast for next week.